Hello and welcome to the WIHS Journal Public Affairs program. I'm Jerry Williams. Well, author Dr. Mel Tavares recently visited our broadcast studio to talk about her latest book, Make Families Great Again. This book is a 2026 Christian India Award first place winner for relationships and family. Hear a portion of our conversation with Dr. Mel Tavares happening now on the WIHS Journal. It's News and Public Affairs. Joining us now is our dear sister, woman of God, author, mother, and so many things, is Dr. Mel Tavares. She said, but we can call her Mel. Good morning, Mel. How are you?
Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me here.
So glad to have you here.
She is the author of her latest book out of about a half a dozen of them, but her latest is Make Families Great Again. Read book, and we're excited to hear what that book is all about. Before we talk about the book, let's get to know a little bit about you. You're born and raised, how long you've been walking with the Lord, that sort of thing.
Born and raised in Maine. I've been here in Connecticut about 20 years, so about two-thirds of my life has been in Maine. I've been walking with the Lord since 1988. I went to church with my grandma growing up, but did not accept the Lord. And when I was 27, I just felt very empty. I was like, there has to be more to life than this, chasing the world and all the money and all the fame and the fortune and the titles and all the, it's very boring. And I actually became quite despondent, and out of desperation, stole my coworker's Billy Graham How to Be Born Again book. And, I don't steal anymore, though. So that's
You
good.
borrowed it.
I borrowed
You
it,
borrowed
yes.
it.
I borrowed it. I took it without asking.
And you've been walking with the Lord ever since.
I
Been
have.
quite
What
a journey.
a joyful journey.
It
is
is.
a joyful journey. We grow and grow day by day, right? You look back and you're like, how can that have been decades? But what a rich journey it's been.
So you have this book, Make Families Great Again. What was the inspiration behind writing this book?
I've worked with families, youth and families, for the last 40 years in ministry. So I've had a concurrent run of career and ministry, so a youth director and things like that in the church, and Sunday school teacher, all the things, and then working with the Department of Ed, and later on as a mental health counselor, different things, and I recognize that the trend is it's going down, not up. Families, it's more difficult now to raise children than it ever was. And parents are bewildered, and grandparents are often raising kids or partially responsible for raising kids, and they don't know what's happening. And they're saying, we're taking our children to church, we're praying with them in the house, Christian families. This book is really written for the Christian, and yet they're making choices. They're getting involved in things. Or how can they be contemplating suicide? How can these things be happening when I raise them for the Lord? And I have the answers, and I said I have to put these answers out there and help people decode what's really going on in the youth culture.
If you're just joining us, Dr. Mel Tavares is our guest. You have about 7 chapters. Sounding the trumpet. Just right out of the gate. I got to sound the trumpet.
Yep.
I got to bring awareness to what's going on.
That's exactly what I hope is happening. I'm hearing lots of feedback after the last few months of it being out, sounding the trumpet and saying it's not as simple as what we think. There are, I will say, people who have intentionally planned the demise of our families. And it is very strategic, and kids are unaware of what's happening, and they get pulled in. And so it's like somebody has to sound the trumpet and tell the truth about what's going on.
You just reminded me of something. There's an alternative lifestyle choir that has a song, and there's one of the statements in the song is, "We're coming after your children." Mm-hmm. Do you know about that song?
I do not know about that song, but I'm not surprised at the statement.
Right. State of schools. That's a chapter in your book.
So the state of schools, I think we don't have to look too far to see that we can take it from the educational standpoint and look at the national report card and see, and I do reference in here even about our state of Connecticut demise in the education scores, and that comes straight out of the national report card. I didn't make it up. I put a lot of statistics in this book. I backed it all up, all the research, everything's cited. And so there's that. And then there's the character education. like what's really going on between reading, writing, and arithmetic, what's happening in terms of values clarification and character education. And then we don't have to talk too much about the whole gender identity issue. And thank goodness some things are starting to turn around. But the state of schools is very bad. Let's talk about the bullying and school shootings. The culture is so different than even 15 years ago.
This place that we're viewing right now gives us an arena of things to look at that are devastating. Years ago, your parents would come in because you're talking out of school or you're chewing gum or you're throwing spit wads. It's not like that anymore.
Parents can't even go into schools most of the time now.
There's a lot of internet ghosting of kids. It's messing up their minds. It's like a hidden society of people, and they really get excited to know that they're antagonizing and putting a lot of mental ill health on a fellow student.
Yes.
Okay. And that is hard for parents these days, from what I'm listening from other people. Do you have anything to share about that?
It is hard on parents, but I think, to be honest, a lot of parents aren't even aware that that's going on.
I know.
If they're not available to talk to kids and they don't make those opportunities, kids don't share that. By the time parents settle down and everybody settles down and it's 9 or 10 o'clock at night, it's too late to talk about what just happened all day in school and how much bullying happened and all of those types of things. So I think parents have to become aware that there's some pretty rough stuff, and then that bullying isn't as simple as it used to be. Now, a kid can be bullied at midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning on social media while they might even be asleep, but they wake up and they find out that their photo is all over the internet. We talked earlier about the fact that there's a reality that AI can undress kids now and those sorts of things. And now you've got pictures all over the place. They try to walk into school. It's horrifying to them. And how do you get your reputation back? How do you unsee what you've seen?
So, yeah.
It's so hard.
And we talked about this earlier before you came on about, like, right about now in the news, we don't talk about the political area about this, but how do parents, what kind of support do they have if they don't want their children vaccinated on certain things?
Boy, that's an emerging issue that's going on right now in our legislature, and it is a tough topic to talk about. I don't know what's going to happen, to be honest with you. I don't know what's going to happen.
Parents need to know that they have a say. That's their children.
Right. They're going to have to show up. They're going to have to go to the hearings. They're going to have to speak up. You know, in all of these things we're talking about, parents have got to be involved. And can we just say that I feel the pressure that parents are under and grandparents are under these days because we have to work. It's it's ever increasing. It used to be you could afford to have one person working. There's a lot of single parent homes now. There is no option but to go to work and to pay the rent and buy food. And so it's very, very hard. So I don't want people to think like, listen, the only answer here is you're going to have to quit your job, stay home, and spend your day reading all the newsletters and statistics and try to keep up with your kids. We're not saying that. We're just saying let's figure out what's going on and let's come up with some strategies to combat the culture our kids are growing up in, Christian kids. They're in a culture that's very counterculture to what we're trying to teach them, and it's very hard. But there is hope. There are ways to keep up.
Dr. Mel Tavares is our guest this morning. She said we can call her Mel. Your latest book, Make Families Great Again. This book does a deep dive, folks, into research and gives 2025 data on what is happening in families, in schools, and on the internet. And you make yourself available around the country at women's conferences and especially here in our state.
I do. I love coming and speaking either at women's events, parent events, to the local church bodies. I've done quite a bit of that and am booking into 2027. I've got openings in 2026. But you know what? We're just trying to spread the word of there's hope. There's a way to figure out. You don't have to be overwhelmed. Let's have some strategies and let's take our families back. Let's make them great again. Why am I saying again? Because they used to be.
Again, that was Dr. Mel Tavares talking about her latest book, Make Families Great Again. If you would like more information about what you heard today, call WIHS 860-346-1049, 860-346-1049. I'm Jerry Williams for the WIHS Journal. It's news and public affairs.